Hi.
Hi guys. Today we wanted to show you how we handle Zoe's reading lessons. She is going through learning to read, Christian Light education, and it has been really great this year for her. She has done amazing. She has made great progress. We did find back in the beginning of the year that the lessons were seeming to be a little bit too long and too much for her. There were some frustrating moments, a little bit of tears sometimes. So in order to avoid that, and so it wasn't quite as uncomfortable for her, we decided to go ahead and start splitting up the lessons. We do part one day and we do part 2 on another day. Now there are some
We're doing
days,
part 2 tomorrow.
right, today is part 1. So there are some days that we still do a complete lesson. I believe yesterday and the day before we did complete lessons because we did not do
Because we're almost done school.
language arts. Yes, and we're trying to get done. We're done school for the year very soon. So we're trying to get her reading completed. But anyway, I wanted to go ahead and share with you how we split up her lessons. So we do one lesson in a matter of 2 days. So I just thought I'd give you a little sneak peek into how we split it up in case this is something that might benefit someone else. It has worked well for us. She's still getting everything involved in the lesson and she is absolutely growing and progressing, and yeah, there's nothing wrong with breaking it up if you need to, instead of just completely saying, this isn't working, this curriculum's not working for us, I spent all this money. Maybe just try breaking it up a little, or taking it easy, or revising it a little bit. That's the beauty of you being a teacher to your child, is you can make it work however it needs to for your kiddo. So we're gonna go ahead and have you come along with us on Zoe's part 1 reading lesson today. So I just quickly wanted to share how we go ahead and split up our lessons and how it has been a success for us. So this is the teacher's guide. And what I normally do is, I'll show you, we are in light unit 109. So she only has one more after this, and then she's completed this whole program, the learning to read. So we are on lesson 5 of light unit 109. So this just shows you in the beginning overall what you'll need and what you'll be going over. So what we go ahead and do is I'll go ahead and go over the little bit of the lesson, and I won't do this word for word. I will expand more on it if she needs it. Otherwise, I just go through it. Some of this stuff she already knows and some of it is new. I'll just use these. These go along with what we'll be discussing here. Instead of a chalkboard, I just use little index cards, paper, or one of our little drawing tablets, something like that. So we'll go over this, and then let me show you the workbook that lines up with lesson 5. So lesson 5, then we'll go ahead and we'll jump here. She'll do this section here, and we'll go ahead and move through this first page. So she'll complete this whole page as we're sitting here together. And then we'll flip over, and I will either have her complete this next page, or if I find that she needs a little bit of a writing break or a little bit of a break up in what we're doing, then I will go ahead and I will practice the word flashcards with her. And then I'll do this if she needs a break, and then we'll go ahead and we'll move on to this page. And then that is actually all that I usually have her complete in the workbook for one day. So she'll do the front and then she'll do the back, and that'll end our workbook practice for part number 1. She will usually read these out loud to me, or I will read them with her if she's getting tired. And then, yep, I just follow along in here. So the penmanship practice goes along with this part here, which is what she would complete here. Then we do this, and then we're done with the workbook. We usually put that away. And then for her reading, I will open up, I will actually, we won't do that. So if you notice here, sorry, let me just go back here real quick. So this is lesson 5. So there is a story at the end of lesson 5, but we actually do that when we split it up in the second day. So we won't do this today. We'll close this up, and we're gonna go ahead and jump to the reading in the We Discover book, okay? So the story that goes along with the lesson today is called The Boat Ride. And you'll actually see that at the end of the lesson right here. This is the actually into the jump of the second session in the parent guide. But I go ahead and have her read this to me. So she'll read that out loud to me, and then I usually read over it to her, helps her understand it a little bit more. I'll ask her a couple questions just to make sure she understood the story. And then the last part we do on day number 1 or part number 1 for the lesson is I'll jump to the spelling word section. Sometimes I'll go over some of this review, but a lot of it she already knows because we've been reviewing it all year. So I don't honestly review every single lesson with her because it would take a really long time. I was finding that it was taking us a really, really long time to complete our reading lessons. And by the time we got there, she was just maxed out and she really wasn't gaining anything. So I go ahead and I jump ahead to these spelling words. And I like these spelling words because they go along with the blends or the endings or the words that you're actually learning in the lesson that you're on. So I take the spelling words from here, and what I do is I go ahead and I just write them out here on some handwriting paper. And then for the first couple of days, I will have her come in and she will just read me the word and then she will write it one time beside my word. Then again, she will read through them all. I will make sure that she knows how to read them all, and I will make sure she notices that the blends or the endings or the beginnings or whatever we learned about matches what we learned about in our lesson. Make sure she kind of like puts that together. And so that gets her review of reading, it gets her handwriting practice, and it also gets her spelling practice. So sometimes she'll do these, so she'll usually write these out 2 days in a row. And then sometimes I'll quiz her on them, but I don't honestly quiz her on them every single week. I'm kind of okay at this point if she's just understanding how to spell them out. And yes, sometimes I'll have her write them out independently. Sometimes I'll have her say them out loud. It just kind of depends on where we're at for the remainder of the week. So that's pretty much all that we do for part number 1 of our reading lesson. So that I just wanted to show you as we're filming her completing it, so you kind of knew exactly what she was doing as we were going along. Today we are going to be talking about a couple more blends, but blends that go at the end of words, okay? So we are going to be talking about the ending blend of oof.
Oof.
Oof. Okay, what 2 letters make up this blend here? About MP, LB, old, LF, old. Okay, these are your new blends. You tell me.
Can I check this?
You can check that because you wrote them, but now you need to say them to me before you check that off. So go ahead and read down this list for me.
L.
Start with your first letter.
M. Lip.
Mm. Put it together.
Limp.
Good. Limp. Right.
Write a word you made.
So one of these words up here that you made goes in this blank. Do you know what this is? Do you remember what that is? A what?
Float.
A float. That's a good guess. You're close. Is it a limp? Is it a blimp? Is it a jump? Camp, thump, swamp.
It's a blimp.
It's a blimp.
Yep.
It is a blimp.
Yep.
Very good. Can you write blimp on that line, please? Do you remember which word said blimp? Can you find it?
This one. There. There.
Good. All right. Now we're gonna flip over here.
What
Can
are
you
those
read me the?
trees?
Can you read me the sentence, please?
Yep.
Tell me what it says.
Who can and the picture it is pretty.
Very good. I want you to write it as best as you can down below. Now your box of words at the bottom. Do you feel like you can read them to me? Or do you want me to do them with you? Do them together?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you start with the first one?
Puff.
Puff. Good.
So excited.
Practice your spelling words, okay? Now these, if you notice at the end, are the same blends that we talked about earlier, okay? Can you go down and read them to me? Today. You're almost done, Nini. Okay.
The book oats
Orange boat. Dad gave Jean some help to get into the boat. Then Dad and Jay got the boat into the pond. Jean said, "Will the boat tip?" Dad said, "You are safe if you sit still, Jean. The boat will not tip. It will float." All right, so that wraps up our first part of our lesson, our reading lesson. It took us a little bit longer today. It took us about 45 minutes. But we were also trying to film, and Zoe got the hiccups.
Yep.
And she has a stuffy nose, so we had a couple different things going on. Yeah, so it just took a little bit longer today, but it's okay. She did good. Yeah, so that's the first part of the reading lesson and how we handle it. So we will also film the second part so you can see how we finish up each lesson. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. I am more than happy to help. Yeah, we'll talk soon. Thanks for watching.